Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to yet another Stone Cold Hockey video to do with the 1978-79 WHA season. We're going to be doing a little bit differently. I know there's only 9 teams involved, and so the Soviets and Czechoslovakia will be basically popping in during the Christmas break to try to ruin things for the NHL. I mean the WHA, whatever you want to call it. Right now, Birmingham looking good. The Birmingham Bulls are undefeated 4-0. Quebec and Edmonton have 6 points. Winnipeg, New England, Indy with 4 points. Cincy with 2. It's important to note that, the Soviets and Czechs will be coming by in December, and each team will get one WHA matchup against them to set up things. And also to look at Indianapolis at 2-3. They've only played 25 games in their season before folding, so this was a case of folding when the time comes. Right now, by point scoring, Real Cluche has 13, 7 goals, 6 assists. Serge Bernier second with 9. Terry Watzkowski and Robbie Fatorik are tied with 8. Goals against Jim Corsi, 3-1. He has a 2 goals against average. So, anyway, nevertheless, we are doing a little bit different. We are going to be doing every Saturday game. So, we're going to do the quick autoplay. Before we get to the Saturday games, which will be Quebec, Cincy, Winnipeg, and Indy. So just to make sure that when we do the Sunday or the Saturday games, we try to make sure that we don't do the same team twice. I know it's gonna be a little bit different come when Indy drops out. But anyway, Quebec will play Cincy. Quebec 5-2, Cincy 1-6. Michel Dion, the former Quebec Nordique goalie, in for Cincy. King Richard Brodeur for Quebec. Years before he would play a major role in getting Vancouver the 1982 Western Conference Finals. Michel Dion would go on. I think he was a Penguin. He had that Penguins outfit on. Mike Liu is his backup. 2 years later, Liu would be the star goalie for Canada at the Canada Cup, which they got bombed by the Soviets, and also winning the second place for the Hart Trophy. Jim Corsi and Louis Lavasseur were the goalies for the Nordiques. So here are the goalies for Quebec. You have Real Cloutier, the point scoring leader, who had the hat trick at the first NHL game in Quebec Nordiques history and a loss. Marc Tartif, former Habs icon. Serge Bernier there. Paul Baxter, Bob Fitcher, J.C. Tremblay, former Hab. Gary Ruffier, Pauline Boudreau, Alain Cote, who had years in Quebec. Kurt Breckenberry, Danny Jeffrion, that's Boom Boom's son. Francis Lacombe, former SEAL. Dan Hogan, son. Christian Bruno, Norm Dubé, Gilles Bilodeau, Wally Weir, Kevin Morrison, Richard David, Jim Dory, Pierre Lagasse, and Kevin Devine. Cincy has Robbie Fatorik, future head coach. Reg Thomas, Jamie Hislop, future Nordique, I thought. Peter Marsh, Craig Norwich, Mike Gardner, who did great things for Washington, Minnesota, the Rangers, Toronto, and Phoenix. Bill Gilligan, Gilligan's Island. Rick Dudley, another former head coach. Dave DeBall, Chuck Liska, Daryl Meggs, Byron Shutt, Barry Melrose, another future NHL coach. Dave Forbes, Barry Lake, Mark Messier, a young Mark Messier at that, before the Oilers got him in the draft. Claude St. Sauveur, Gordy Clark, Ed Gilbert, Paul Stewart, Byron Watson, and Kelly Davis. Here we go. Commits into the game and a forcer. Double hit. Much later. Forcer, aggression. There's a fight between Wally Weir and Mike Gardner. Wow, Gardner can fight. But the bad news for Cincy is that he's a good player too. So he's in the back. Kotretsky or Tartif. Well, this team's Tardifs are 35% off, not tariffs. Fischer and Bernier with the assist. 3 more minutes. He ate Brady Marsh. It's Peter Marsh, his third from Reg Thomas and Craig Norwich. Actually, no. Another fight. It's Bernier Liout. How? Mike Liout? He's not even supposed to be playing. Serge Bernier. Why would he fight? Serge Bernier. Well, he got Bernier. So that actually works out for Cincy. 4 minutes later, no shot. So 5 more minutes. Cincy chance, Gilligan. No. 2 more minutes. No major damage in the second period by either side. Cincy really needs to win this game. 2 minutes later. Quebec. Oh. WHA gets whacked by Barry Melrose. And they score. Power play goal. Tardif, his second of the night from Lacombe, makes it 2-1 Nordiques. 2 more minutes. 4 more minutes. Basically drawn out. Since he tried and failed. 6 minutes later. Quebec skiers, throw those hats on the ice. Oh yeah, you're on opposing rank. Tardif from Baxter and Brackenbury. Brackenbury? He just came by? Huh. Anyway, there are a piece of empty nets probably. Quebec will win, and again Cincy will fall flat. They're 1-7. So the Nordiques are now 6-2. Goals by Tardif, and Tardif. Marsh with 2 goals. I think this is the most goals in a game I've done that by 2 total players with 5 goals each. Anyway, we're going to go to Winnipeg and Indy. Coming up next. Winnipeg in this simulation 3-4. The Racers are 2-4. Of course, this is the time when Wayne Gretzky played on the team. Joe Daly and that for Winnipeg, the icon of the WHA for Winnipeg. Gary Innes will go take a seat for the Racers in the net. Kent Nielsen, who later go on to bigger things with the Calgary Flames, playing for the 79 Jets. Morris Lukowicz, whose brother Ed was a prime curler in Canada. Peter Sullivan, Terry Roskowski, Willie Lidstrom, future Oiler, I think. Rich Preston, future Hawk. Barry Long, Bill Lezick, Lyle Moffat, Bob Gooden, John Gray, Paul Tenbush, Mike Amadale, Scotty Campbell, Paul McKinnon, Glenn Hicks, Roland Erickson, Steve West, Kim Claxton, Bobby Hall, and through the tail end of his career, Bill Davis, Lars Eric Solberg, who died as an assistant coach with the Rangers, John Gibson, and terrible Ted Green. On the opposite side of the coin, we have Blaine Stoughton for the Racers, who were going to do much better things with the Whalers, Don Larway, Rich Bishop Leduc, Claude LaRose, former Hab, Michel Parasol, former Nordique, Gary McGregor, Rene Leclerc, Dave Worrell, Larry Sakarak, Al McLeod, Bruce Gray, Kevin Nugent, Dave Inkpen, what a name, John Hughes, Wes George, Claude St. Savard, Wayne Gretzky, that's the name of everything, Ken Rock, Peter Driscoll, Angie Moretto, Dean McKee, Byron Baltimore, Don Burgess, Jerry Rollins, and Glenn Irwin. Here we go. Oh yeah, Gary Smith would also play Winnipeg in net. Marcus Matson, the backup. The Racers have Eddie Beal and Gary Smith as goalies. 2 minutes into the game. Indy takes a chance. West George, no. 6 more minutes. Agitated. Winnipeg got agitated. Preston. Four minutes later. Winnipeg Skiers. Peter Pucking Eater, his fourth from Collection. Much later. Fireway makes it 2-1. And you trying to get close to 500. Well, they've only played 25 games. This is game number 7. 3 minutes. Long is fourth from Pariso and Moro. 4 minutes later. Lukowitz. Oh boy. They kill the zone on him. Much later. This is the Indianapolis fucking Racers. There's a goal, very long, a long, long way from home. He scores from Gray and Amadeo, 4-2. Winnipeg is fuming. They're down 4-2. Marcus Madsen has to come in and play. And they score. Kent Nielsen. Can't always expect results. His fourth from Blesick and Moffat makes it 4-3. 4 minutes. Battle. And a chance for look what skillers. Hurry hard, hurry hard. His fourth from Scott Campbell and Rich Preston makes it 4-4. And he's in trouble. Oh man, now we have to start all over again. They score. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That's Willie Lindstrom's name. His four from Lukowitz and Nielsen. Lukowitz has all those goals, but only this is his first assist? Really? 4 minutes later. Nochetzky, oh, he hurried hard on his second of the night, his fifth from Nielsen and Terbersh. Makes it 6-5. What a comeback. Carla Rose, oh, geez, he thought he could tie it. And now the Winnipeg Jets win 6-5. Indy was hoping to go to 3-4, but they failed. 4 of the last 5 goals by the Jets. They made the change for Matson at the right time. 6-5. They like Indy's weak. And this guy named Gretzky hasn't scored anything. So yeah, the Racers were up 4-1, and yet Winnipeg won the game 6-5 late. That's what you do. And they failed to miss. They failed. November 4th, Quebec versus Birmingham and New England versus Indy. Well, Quebec plays Birmingham. Okay, so we'll do Quebec versus Birmingham. Yeah, so Quebec will face Birmingham. That'll be our Saturday game. Yeah, Quebec has to play Birmingham twice in a row. New England beats Indy 4-1. Now Quebec has to go to Birmingham. 8-3 they are. Birmingham was 4-0. Now they're 5-4. They've dropped things. Ernie Wakely, the former Jet goalie, Ed St. Louis Blue goalie, is the starting goalie for Birmingham. With Jim Corsi going in net for the Nordiques. We talked about the Nordiques. I don't think we ever talked about Birmingham. No, Birmingham has been like out of our way. We haven't had a Birmingham thing. Ernie Wakely, Pat Reagan, and Wayne Wood in net. And the Birmingham Bulls, we haven't had a game with them. So here we go. Rick 5, he was one of the players that drew the luck of the draw when the WHA decided to draft 18-year-olds. The Yanshellers, you had to be 19. Rick 5, great player 1 year, and then he went to the Canucks, and then he went to the Leafs in the Tiger Williams trade. First Leafs to score 50 goals in his season. Should have been the Big M. He went on to play for Buffalo. I have his hockey card with the Sabres. Michel Goulet, who later went to the Chicago Blackhawks. No, where did he go first? Was he in Nordique first? Yeah, I think he was at Quebec Nordique icon first, and then he went to Chicago to play for the Blackhawks, and then had that injury at the Forum, which curtailed his career. Rick Alduno, Paul Henderson, yes, that Paul Henderson, who should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame because of his goal that helped Canada take down those pesky Soviets in 1972. John Stewart, not that one. Craig Hartsburg, future head coach of the NHL and star defenseman for the North Stars. Rob Ramich, a name I don't want to mention because, yeah, he's a former league captain. But Rob Ramich also is the douchebag who had that car accident that killed Keith Magnuson. Bob Stevenson, Steve Alley, Wayne Dillon, future former Bruin. Louis Slager, future Nordique, Dave Gorman, Gaston Shingra, who played for the Habs and Leafs, and one others. Dave Hansen, part of the Hansen brothers from Slapshot, Serge Baudouin, Tony Castellato, Jim Turkowitz, Peter Moran, Greg Tabut, Brett Hughes, Gavin Kirk, who was around since day one when the team used to play in Ottawa, then moved to Toronto, then now Birmingham, and Keith Crowder. Here we go. 15 minutes. Correct skiers. J.C. Tremblay. Finally scores from Breckenberg and Baxter, although he's a defenseman. 4 minutes later. You have to beat him in the alley. That's Steve Alley, his sixth. Ramage with the assist. 4 minutes later. Gave Goulet for his four from Stewart and Turkowitz. Much later. Skiers. Too bad you're not as smart as you thought you were in the first place. That's Norm, as in Norm Dubé and the TV show Norm from Tremblay. 3 minutes later, Birmingham tried. After 20. 4 minutes later, correct skills. He's the real deal, Real Cloutier. His 12 from Weir and Lacombe. 4 minutes later, correct? No. 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later. Correct? No shot. 4 minutes later. It's Hertzberg. Does Quebec take advantage? They do. The real deal Cloutier his 13th of the year, second of the game from Tartuffe and Tremblay. High scoring game. Birmingham's like, well, it should be okay. Correct? Oh, Cloutier was looking for the hat trick. 5 minutes later. 5 more minutes. Aggression? At home. Does Birmingham take advantage? No? Henderson has scored for Canada. I mean, the Bulls from Stewart and Hartsburg. Much later. Aggression? That's it. Bilodeau. Take advantage. Ramage. Ah. I killed it on him. No hit. We're getting near the end. Correct. Oh. And we have 10 minutes of overtime, something you don't see in the NHL in 1979 because they still have no regular season overtime. 3 minutes into the game. Overtime heroics. Real Cloutier from Tartuffe. And the Nordiques pull it off on prolongation. 5-4. They win in overtime. Cloutier does his job. It was back and forth. Nobody had a 2-goal lead at all. That's the truth, of course, of momentum. So after the November 5th week, Quebec leads the race at 18 points. New England, then Edmonton and Winnipeg, the four teams that went from WHA to the NHL. Top four. Birmingham with 10 points. Cincy and Indy just can't get anything going. Mayor Cloutier leads the goal scoring with 14. Mark Howell's getting up there in double digits. Points wise, Cloutier and Tardif are basically 1-2. Tardif, well, Nielsen number 3, but yeah, Cloutier and Tardif. Quebec's trying everything in their power. John Garrett's 5-0 for the Whale at 255. Gary Innes is 0-5-1 for Indy, yet, he has a better goals against than Mike Liut and Gary Smith. Mike Liut started 8 games. Huh. Guess we caught him on an off day. Gary Smith, not so much. But yeah, it is what it is. And that is all that it is for today. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm going to do.